The upcoming Wonder Man series will be giving us one of our newest villains in the MCU, the Grim Reaper. But who is this guy who at first glance just looks like a dude in a skeleton costume and Timu Galactus helmet with a high-tech scythe? Well, I'm gonna break down all the important things you need to know about the Grim Reaper from the comics and more importantly, what he means for the MCU. The Grim Reaper, also known as Eric Williams, was created by Roy Thomas and John Buscema and first appeared in Avengers issue 52. Eric Williams is the brother of Simon Williams, and their dad, Sanford Williams, owned a successful company in the tech and weapons space, Williams Innovations, but things at home weren't so great. Eric was unfortunately seen as the black sheep of the family, while Simon got most of the praise. And I'm talking about some really not so great stuff here for Eric. His dad paid him no attention, and when he did, it was of course to be abusive. And his mother just assumed this abusiveness is what turned Eric quote unquote bad. This constant feeling of being second best is what pushed Eric away from his family, so he eventually moved out to Las Vegas and found a new family in the Maggia crime syndicate rising up in the criminal underworld. But that resentment and trauma never really went away. It just sat there waiting for a spark. And that spark comes when Simon became Wonder Man and eventually died, saving the Avengers, which I cover completely in another video, which I'll link down below in the description and at the end of this video. Eric, of course, learned of Simon's death, and he was furious that the Avengers did nothing to save his brother. So that long simmering trauma boiled over into pure revenge. Eric went to the Tinkerer, the guy who outfits tons of villains, and got his new weapon, a powerful techno scythe that could shoot energy blasts and even put people into a death-like coma. With a new costume and a new weapon, he was no longer Eric Williams, and he was now the Grim Reaper, and his whole thing is basically getting revenge against the Avengers. He even formed his own supervillain team, the Lethal Legion, to try and take them down. His obsession with revenge against the Avengers is something, but he had a special hatred for someone in particular. But before we get to the Grim Reaper's biggest rivalry, if you're liking this video and you want to see more videos like it, hit that like button and subscribe down below. So while Grim Reaper hated all the Avengers, he had a special hatred for one in particular, the Vision. Why? Because when Ultron created Vision, he used the brain patterns of the supposedly deceased Simon Williams. To Eric, Vision was a cheap copy of his brother, and he couldn't stand the idea of this machine having his brother's mind. To put even more fuel to the fire, Eric hated the fact that when Simon was resurrected, he sided with the Avengers and Vision, making Eric feel even more replaced. This obsession with revenge reached a boiling point in Tom King's Vision series, where Vision creates his own synthezoid family to try and live a normal life. Grim Reaper finds them and attacks, and in the fight, he's ultimately killed by Vision's wife, Virginia. The Grim Reaper dying and ultimately being resurrected becomes a theme in the comics, but with every new resurrection, he gains more powers, more so on the mystical side of things, including the ability to summon demons, create illusions, and his scythe now has the ability to absorb life force from his victims. So now, after all these years in the comics, Grim Reaper is finally making his way to the MCU, and he's going to be portrayed by Demetrius Gross in the Wonder Man series. Like always, the MCU character is not going to be a one-to-one adaptation from the comics. We do know the show will be different from what we're used to seeing, and will be set in Hollywood with Simon Williams, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, being an actor. My guess is that we're going to continue to get the family drama between Simon and Eric, and if Simon ends up getting this big role as an actor, that is most likely going to put Eric into the shadow even more, creating the perfect villain who wants to get revenge. But I'm not entirely sure we're gonna get the full-fledged scythe-wielding Grim Reaper that we've gotten in the comics, although I hope in some way that we do. It will be interesting to see if they use tech for the Grim Reaper's powers, or if they will even tap into his newer mystical abilities. If you want to learn more about the star of the show, Wonder Man, check this video out right here, and if you want to dig even deeper into the comics and see every time Wonder Man has died and has been resurrected, check this video out right here.